Welcome back there, buds. Next up on the bench, we have this lovely dining room chair that we need to re-glue. It's gotten a little creaky and loose over the years. It's about 20 to 30 years old. I have a whole set to do, but we will focus on this one for the time being. So we will re-glue this, and then I will show you how I clean up, touch up, and give it a new fresh finish. So let's jump in and take a closer look at what this thing looks like before we get started. If we start at the top of this and work our way down, you can see the top of this chair. There is no finish left. It has just been totally rubbed off from years of putting your hand on that. And you can see it even wore off down around here too. The seat just has your normal wear and tear from sitting on it. And you can see here the back is coming up a little bit. Some of the legs, they're coming out. When these were made new, all they did was put a little drop of wood glue with, of course, a brad nail. And it's held for 20 some years, so I guess I can't complain too much. But now I have it, and I need to fix it up. I like to tear these down, kind of like how you tear a building down. You build it up from the ground up, you tear it down from the top down. Most of the time. Here you can see what I was talking about with those brad nails. Each little joint, there's just a little dab of glue in there, and then it's just held in with a brad nail. There we go. Set that aside. Wiggle that up by hand, and once I got that one out, now's a good time to mark everything. Just wiggling it and turning it like a screw. Pops right out. I'll start here with this one that I already have apart a little bit. You can see inside of there, there's just a little bit of glue residue. I take this little awl, I'll just loosen that up, dig it around a little bit, and I put a little piece of sandpaper around a dowel, put it in the drill, just scuffing that up just a little bit. The next thing I need to do is just to clean up these little tenons, the ends. You can see that brad nail in there, and a little bit of glue left on there. What I do is just take a little side cutter, cut it off. And just flatten it out with that hammer. It's good to go. A little sandpaper. Scuff that up, get the old glue off. If there's anything on the tip, I just take a little razor knife. Get whatever glue residue might be left. Get rid of those sharp edges so it goes back in the hole nice and easy. Yeah, that one there's ready for glue. We just have about 10 more of those to do. So let's get to it. Now that I got this dry fitted and all back together, before I glue it, I'm going to set this aside, and I have to clean out the bottom of the underside of the seat. But I want to start just work a little bit of glue inside these joints here, underneath and at the top. Get them wiggle around, get that glue worked in there really good. See what that bottom looks like now. These wedges though are going in there. That comes back down. those wedges will spread back out. And this will be a nice solid joint once that glue is dry. And just a little dab on these. Even just give it a little smack. In this mallet, I have some foam padding, some different cloth, and a little piece of leather. It's starting to fall apart too, but it has a bunch of staples in it. It's glued up pretty nice. Very nice and soft. The more you clean out, the less you have to clean later. Now, I'm just going to pop these in here. And maybe give it one more click. You'll see a little bit more glue squeeze out. And I always like to just take my mallet and make sure it's, if it is going to go anymore, if there was anything that needed to budge, when it's got that band clamp on, it'll go when you smack it with the mallet. And then one last thing that I do, and leave it up here. Like to center the weight just about in the middle. Get 100 pounds on there. Give everything a quick check and a quick wiggle. Once again, if you're giving this a wiggle with that weight on, it'll be sure to go down. Give everything one last wiggle. Maybe one last smack. Now that I have all the weight on, the clamps on, this needs to just set. The bottle tells you a half an hour before you can take the clamps off, so I'll usually let it sit for a few hours minimum, most times overnight. This Bucko break is brought to you by my buds at Commonwealth Press in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Visit them at cwpress.com for all of your design, t-shirt, sticker, and print needs. Beautiful fall day for a hike with my buck. Where are you going? Come on! Come on! Now that it's glued, let's take a look at that finish again, or lack of. That has all been worn off over the years. And the seat has a little bit of wear and tear as well as the legs. Now all that's left to do with these chairs is just to give them a quick cleanup using a little bit of the diluted Windex with some 4/0 steel wool, nice clean rags. That'll get all the gunk off, and then we'll prepare it for a little bit of a restorative finish and touch up. Working top down, I spray the Windex directly onto the steel wool, never onto the chair. And I just start cleaning it top down. Everything else I will make sure is very nice and clean. You can see some old scratches or paint. You can just feel how how sticky that is. So sticky. There's still a little bit of gunk up in here. I'll just have to hit that another time, but other than that, we'll just continue on to the rest of the chair. As that Windex sets a little bit on that, it'll start loosening up that oil more and more and more. And you have those little, you have so many paint specks and just little dirt specks. Everything just starts to loosen up, comes off pretty nice and easy. Just keep working that around there, wiping it off. That's what the top looks like now after just cleaning it. Just wiping that. Now to sand this, I will use a little bit of 180 grit. I want to sand this top completely clean. This top is already bare wood, but the sides have a little bit of finish left, and that comes right off with that 180. And as you can see, I cleaned that, and I'm still getting a little gunky. Couple passes, and it'll all be right off. And I'm also going to take just the tops of that off, just feather it down. Now that this is all sanded down, nice and bare, I'm just going to take that 180 and just lightly scuff up the entire finish on that chair, just so that that new finish will adhere to that. Now I'm just taking a little bit of naphtha. It's good de-waxer, degreaser. And this will also act as my tack cloth to get any leftover dust that the air hose didn't get. This will also help to ensure that that new finish will stick without any contaminants messing up that finish. Now to apply the finish, I put some, this is General Finishes Armor Seal. Just put it in this dollar store squeeze bottle you can find in toiletry sections. And then I got my little bit of golden brown dye that will match that chair, because the top of that chair there doesn't have much color. So we want to match that up. I just make a pad with a little bit of cheesecloth. Wet it down pretty good. Work it in. That's what that looks like. And all I do is get a couple drops. Little goes a long way. Work it around. Up here. I'll just reload the pad. Keep going on the rest of the chair. Even hit a little bit because that's just raw wood. That's going to soak it really fast there. Get that top rung, top of that really nice and wet. Probably do about 3 on this. Let it dry a few hours between. There it is after just one pass. The color's starting to match up pretty good. It's the beauty of this is that you get to see this chair already pop after just one pass. Definitely need more on the top there, as it was raw wood, versus all these other spots that were just, you know, scuffed up finish. But that chair is already starting to look really, really nice. Now I just need to let this sit up. I'm going to let it dry for about 4 hours, and then scuff it up and do it again. Now that this set overnight, I'm going to take a little sanding sponge, and I'm just going to rough up that finish to prepare it for a new coat. I'm just going to take a little bit of water, make a little tack cloth, get the rest of that dust off of there. There's a few areas that were sanded through around the edge of the seat and some other places. I'm just going to use my touch-up marker. It's the golden oak flavor. Just going to use that and just touch up around the edge here. Just bring that color back up. That'll soak in. When it dries, it will take the finish nicely. Try this right-handed. Blends in pretty nice there. come back in, darken that up just a little bit more. Get it to match. That's a good color. One thing I like to do there is just clean that cap off every time I use it so it stays nice and fresh. About a half a day. Come in here and take a look at the seat, the legs, everything looks great. There was already a base layer of finish on there, and with 2 coats, that is good. Now, since this top was raw wood, only 2 coats, that's not enough. We need to scuff it up and do just 1 more coat. I think ought to do it, just for that top and just the tops of those. So I just got to scuff it up with my sanding sponge again and then hit it with another coat. Now that that chair is set up to dry, one last finishing touch I always do is just to give it a good coat of the beeswax furniture polish. I'm a dealer of this. If you're local, you can get it from me. If not, you can just buy it online somewhere. I'll look for the Amazon link. I'll put it in the description. This is great on everything except your floors. Do not put it on your floors unless you want to have a skating rink. In that case, it is an excellent ice rink polish. So I use it on, the best is on glass, on mirrors. It makes it just completely disappear and creates just this nice coating that is just dust repellent, water repellent. It's great. Couldn't, sing its praises high enough. I've been around long enough that I've seen most, different polishes and all that kinds of stuff. And I found this in an antique shop locally and figured I'd give it a try. It's made in, I think, Tennessee. Yeah, I mean, it's great. I couldn't sing its praises enough. So what I do is I just spray it on, wipe it off. It's really that easy. You don't want to let it dry on the furniture. You just want to get a good coat on there and then just work it in, work it in, work it in, and make sure it's just all wiped off and isn't dried on the piece. But I use it on all my own furniture. Car windows, works like Rain-X. It's good stuff. So I'm just going to polish this up here. Then we'll jump in and take a closer look. See what. Then after a few minutes, let that sit, then just bring back a dry one. Just to finish wiping it in if there's anything left. And it's dry to the touch. There's no oils, there's no silicones, there's nothing in it that, leaves a film or nothing. It's very smooth and slick. It is that, but it doesn't have that waxy, oily feel like, other furniture polishes. It's not an oil. I mean, it has beeswax in it, but it doesn't create any type of a film. Like if you used feed and wax on this, it would be very, very oily. You don't have those feels. Just all better feels. I would say 9 times out of 10 when I do this with a chair, the customer almost always says it looks better than it did new. I mean, it's not totally refinished, but it's darn close. I mean, you're gonna get much better than what you dropped off. So if you're local to me, I can do this for you, or maybe you can do this for yourself. So let's jump in and take a closer look. But first, just make sure, please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. I'm going to be uploading them hopefully weekly now. So thanks for watching, and let's take a look.